Okay, so today I'm going to be looking at Season 1, Episode 4 of The Sopranos. I guess what I haven't been doing is looking at the titles of these episodes necessarily, but this is like Meadowlands or something with Meadow in the title. I couldn't fully see it. It's sometimes hard for me to get these things. Certainly with the characters' names and stuff, I'll fuck them up, but just to review the last episode, it had some very cool moments, especially at the end with respect to Uncle Junior having like the first true hits that we've seen on the show that had a good amount of build-up. The other kid was a clown, Brendan, I think, and then Christopher, he just gave him a warning, basically. So there's a good amount of subtext to some of these, like, to that whole scene. The fact that, on one hand, he always talks to the mother, Uncle Junior, like, maybe something has to be done about Tony, he says, like in the first episode, but the way either she's too senile or she genuinely just never knows what the family's into, right? Even with her husband, who is a saint that she keeps saying. So she doesn't know any better, which is kind of hard to believe, but setting that aside and the fact that she's kind of senile and old, what it leads to is the fact that he's almost asking for her approval in a way, and she might not know any better. So he's taking whatever she says to an extreme, like, you know, in his way of thinking. So when he says something must be done about Tony, if she says, yeah, you're probably right, like, oh, he doesn't take care of me and he's he's got some issues, he'll take that to mean, oh, I'll just do a hit on him and kill him and take over his territory, right? Or I'm going to be almost like rooting for, not really, but like appreciating at least Uncle Junior. They've kind of established him as a much bigger threat and a much bigger deal than I thought he would be just based on the first episode. But he's like that main Hyman Roth-esque antagonist that we were sort of looking for. So he gets a +1 in the character point system for being kind of cold and calculating a little more, whereas Tony's a bit of a clown, maybe because we see him in some more sensitive situations, but you know, he's worried about the ducks and he's crying and the therapist's office, like, maybe that's unfair, but he seems like too conflicted, too confused. He doesn't seem tough enough. It doesn't seem like anybody really fears him, anything like that. And so you're left in a position where, you know, he's just not that impressive, even like he was dealing with the few religious people, I can't remember what they're called. It starts like with an H. And so he's dealing with them, but then he doesn't do it very convincingly, and then they have to give 15% to the guy. So he seems like he's so impressive that he can resist Tony's interrogation and stuff. So it's like you should learn a lesson from that. You should be as tough as that guy yourself, or you should be able to deal with people who are that tough. He kind of clowned you, right? You got your 25% of the hotels, but it made you seem kind of pathetic that you didn't really do the job you were supposed to, and that guy was holding up to your techniques pretty well, right? The guy who doesn't want to get a divorce. But that was kind of like the subplot of this episode, like how they were looking for the car in the last one, in episode 2. They were looking for the car for the teacher. So he's kind of spreading himself thin with some of these dumb things. At least this was sort of business related. Maybe you can make money from it. So yeah, Uncle Junior does a hit on Brendan, which I thought was deserved, and I kind of predicted that even, right? I totally said, oh, they should probably get rid of this guy. He's a complete clown. He's the one who got the person shot at the truck jacking where Christopher didn't even go, and so he did that one by himself. So that was a complete clown show of a character, so he kind of deserved it. Christopher, they gave a warning, so even with the subtext here, that he's taking into account what the mother is saying, Tony's mom, to the extent that, you know, because she said, oh, Christopher's like a son, he just needs a good talking to. So he interprets talking to as, let's go threaten to kill him, and with some Russians. I don't know why he's using Russians, but whatever, right? He goes in with a couple Russians and threatens to kill him to kind of teach him his lesson. And that's something that Christopher almost misinterpreted, because he was confessing, I'm sorry I gave the drugs to Tony's daughter, which I thought that was a clown move. See, Christopher always has his head in the right place, like, you know, he resisted, said, no, I'm not going to do it, of course. You know what your father would do to me if he found out I was giving you drugs. But then he relented and said, oh, you might buy it to from somebody more dangerous. But if she's going to do that, then let her. That's her fault. That's nothing to do with you. Then he'll blame you somehow, oh, you should have sold it to her, given it to her, because then, oh, she wouldn't have done that. But, you know, that's still her fault for doing drugs in the first place. And so you're in a position where he had the right idea, but then he didn't follow through. So now he almost is going to deserve what's coming to him. But that'll be an ongoing subtext plot line that's like, you know, he's trying to hide that fact from Tony, and she's going to get addicted. And I thought she would pass out when they were singing the song at the concert or whatever that Tony was watching. That was a good sort of contrast moment too. Tony's sitting there with his wife, relaxing, watching his kids perform, right? And meanwhile, Uncle Junior's more business focused and more savvy. He's getting Christopher threatened and Brendan killed. So Christopher misinterpreted who even was sending that. It wasn't, he didn't think it was Uncle Junior. He thought it was Tony because, oh, I'm sorry that I gave drugs to the kid. So if the Russians somehow understood that, this might be reading into it too deeply, but if the Russians understood that, now they can use that, Uncle could use that as leverage if they pass that on to him, on Christopher, that, oh, we can blackmail and control you now because we know what you did and we'll tell Tony otherwise, right? Because that just kind of slipped. They didn't know that he would say that or give them even extra to work with, right? They were just trying to keep him in line by giving him a good talking to. And then with the other kid, the mother said, I don't know what to do with him, basically. And so in that case, he takes the initiative and said, okay, we'll just kill him. So he's taking every little thing she's saying, right, and almost taking that as feedback, like he respects her opinion, but taking its feedback to an extreme, right? So you say, oh, he needs a good talking to, I'm going to threaten to kill him. Oh, I don't know what should be done with that guy, he's trouble, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to whack him in the shower. And then, so yeah, there's multiple layers of subtext going on here. That scene was really quite great. That'll go down as one of the iconic ones in the show, and that we think back to, and Uncle Junior sort of establishes himself as the first hit that we get to see here. And so I definitely respect him over Tony, but you know that Tony has to win the conflict because, and Tony shouldn't even be that upset about this. Like, he didn't kill Christopher and he killed the other guy who probably had it coming, and he has been causing trouble, so at least the blame is pinned on him, and then you let it go, right? Tony should accept that. I don't even think he should be that mad. If you killed Chris, I can kind of understand, but he's been talking about, oh, I'm going to go to Hollywood and rat you out and stuff. He's been a little bit entitled, even though, he's done some good things, the Triber Towers thing. And so what we're left with here is that the wife found out that Tony cheated on him or whatever on her with this other girl, right? She kind of dropped out a long time ago when they were kind of on the fence and a long time back. So she was being a little cold as they were watching the theater performance together. So that's going to be an ongoing plot line that might not get talked about right away. So she'll be holding that grudge. Then Christopher's trying to hide the fact that he sold drugs to the kid. Then the kid's trying to hide the fact that she's even on drugs. And then Uncle Junior, obviously this is going to come to a head with the conflict between the two here, as far as Brendan getting killed. And then Christopher let that one line slip, or the fact that, oh, I'm sorry I sold drugs to her, whether the Russians understood that or whether they're going to pass that on, that could be another layer of blackmail that comes into play. But even if not, that's kind of a good way to trick the audience. Like, I was even sure that it wasn't that. Like, how did Tony find out, right? He would have had no way of knowing. I thought she might, collapse during the performance or something, and then they would find out that she had drugs in her system or something. But, there's no way that Tony would have found out that quickly. So now, that's obviously Uncle doing it, but that kind of fails to get the message across. Even as I'm praising Uncle for his coldness, Chris doesn't even know really what happened, like why they did that. So maybe he won't even understand what the lesson he was supposed to learn is. He regrets selling drugs to the kid and he's thinking about that, but he doesn't know it's actually about something else. So that's kind of almost a little funny in a way, but it's just weird. Maybe I'll just recap this time because I'm not going to have enough time to watch it anyway. So maybe tomorrow I'll do it. That's fine. But yeah, that was a good moment there. So again, Chris has looked like a little bit of a clown, but he has to just kind of be a little more measured. Or I could watch half of it. I don't really care, but it's kind of hard for me to fit the whole thing in sometimes. These episodes are a little bit longer. At least the other series I do, whatever. I was doing The Big Bang Theory just to see, watch until it fails to make me laugh for an entire episode. But I lasted until episode 2. So, whatever. We got, again, the subtext with the mom and how she's talking about stuff, and he takes it to another extreme. And she doesn't seem to really know better, but she maybe should know better. And then, just the coldness of that. Uncle Junior doing that, he's kind of justified, and he's right in the situation. All those ongoing plot lines. What else happened in that episode? Just Tony showing that he's not as capable as you think. He can't even torture a guy properly to get what he wants, right? So Tony's not looking too hot to me, as far as being as impressive as he should be. He keeps complaining, oh, the business isn't all that anymore, it's gone downhill, but maybe he's part of the reason why. He's just not that impressive, right? I'm not saying that on an objective level, I'm criticizing the show. I'm just criticizing him. He's a flawed, imperfect character. So let's actually watch starting in 3, 2, 1. No, I fucked up. Starting in 3, 2, 1. HBO Max logo obviously going there, and hopefully they won't show an ad, but they'll show the little title song here. James Gandolfini. Let's actually read who's in this again, since I forget. Yeah, Uncle Junior is a worthy adversary to have. At some point, he's going to get killed. Maybe that'll be the season finale or the series finale. Or they could really drag it out. He could be the final boss in season 6. Because I know it goes on for 6 seasons. I think I remember hearing people were unhappy with the ending of this show. But it was very well regarded regardless, all throughout. Right? I've only ever heard positive things about it, but I didn't really know anything about it beyond that. I'm not the biggest fan of the comedy element and the sort of the family drama. But, whatever. Like I was making fun, it's like Modern Family with gangsters or something like that, even though I haven't seen that either. But, it's fine to a degree, but this is the part that I get immersed in, is the whole strategizing and everything that he's doing. So they fucked with Uncle Junior's trucks twice, as if they can't find anything else to grab. Like, maybe they're getting this inside information because it's sort of in the family, and that's how they have suits, they have DVD players. Or I kept saying they should try to pin it on somebody else, like pin it on some rival gang or somebody else. Kill two birds with one stone, but I guess maybe he's too smart for that, or he would know. Wear a mask or something. You're just going in like, completely candidly and just doing it. Get yourself a gun. Red John theme song from The Mentalist. Why the fuck did you only have one gun as a serial killer? Another therapy. They're kind of milking this too much. I don't like this. They're overdoing it, or he's getting attracted to her now, looking up her skirt and stuff. He's having these fits where he gets mad and storms out, but then she ends up being right or whatever. What the hell is going on here? Are we still in the therapist's office? What's going on? They're having sex. Oh, he's like having a dream. I was gonna say. These are all his associates. Again, I'm not catching necessarily all their names, but they're all like wannabes where they keep quoting gangster movies when they don't really need to. Or he's having fantasies about her, and he so Jackie's in a really bad way, or it almost was seeming to imply it almost seems to imply at the end of the last episode that he was already dead, but yeah, he's cheating with his wife openly, so another unsympathetic factor that I have here. Like, he's just weird way of doing things. Like, am I really going to feel bad for this degenerate criminal who, I don't know, it's almost like it wants you to sympathize with him, but I really am not. I only care about the ability, and he seems to be lacking in that regard too. He has these good excuses ready, canned excuses. Playing a little Mario Kart together, actually time appropriate maybe because of, 1999. It's kind of a nice, wholesome moment, I guess. Good way to bond with the kid over here. Good moment. Not on speed, at least, like your other bitch of a kid. They're both in 5th and 6th. They both suck. Such a degenerate, he has to cheat to beat a kid, too. Just let him get in first and then do that fucking troll blue shell that everybody hates so much. was kind of a weird look he gave. That's good. He's selling her more drugs now, or what? Dude, he almost just got killed, right? It's not. Meadowlands, that's the name of the episode. He doesn't know Brendan's dead already. Also, quite the day for him. Or nobody knows, maybe. He's still in the bathtub. Oh shit, Chris is having a rough time here. But I don't feel bad for you either now, Chris. I respected you a little bit, but shouldn't be that surprising. They took care of you. Who do you think would do this? It's Uncle Junior, written all over it, dude. Don't fuck with Uncle Junior's trucks no more, dude. You should have learned your lesson the first fucking time. Which, to be fair, it wasn't you who did the second one, but then Tony's still getting on him, oh, you gotta show leadership. That's not fucking fair. Even better than drama at home, you got fucking drama at school. This will be even worse. Basically, the speech plot line is the only thing I care about. The daughter thing. But yeah, Chris made a big fuck up with that one. You gonna go all a history of violence on it? Is this really a plot line that we need to care about? The fucking kids at school? This is the kind of shit. Like, I get it. It adds more plot lines to the show, but okay. Tony does sort of turn into a different person in those contexts, though. He's pretty good at switching roles, but so Tony's going to have to find out what happened with Uncle Junior. Chris can probably deduce it by now. Who would do that, but he's hiding from Dante for some reason. Somebody's dentist. What's the big deal, right? He's saying he keeps flossing. Dental office. What's he so freaked out about? Tony's getting all like fucking paranoid or something. But no, he doesn't even know that Brendan's dead or that Chris was threatened, right? They haven't had that conversation yet. Like, it just happened. She said it the first episode, though. Yeah, she said it the first fucking thing. Yeah, you'll look like a fucking crybaby, weak-minded. But look at your mother now, dude. Oh shit, she's getting kind of. therapist who's too good for therapy. She's being kind of snarky a little bit. He must be attracted to her or something. Why the fuck is he going to therapy this goddamn much? But that's exactly what I was saying. He'll be known as a crybaby bitch that hurts the mob boss element. Yeah, see, Chris should be mad. His rage is justified. He shouldn't have done it, but this isn't even what it is. He's saying, that was kind of a funny line. Like, he's been looking for you because he wants to kill you, though. But then again, he already had a chance if he wanted to. But no, he should have been able to figure out that it's Junior by now. How do you not get caught? The whole fucking hallway saw it. This one time at mob camp. $40 for that shit. So she is in the nursing home now, right? For real? Well, Chris just did it, fucking. Yeah, like Tony's made the most out of his opportunities, the clown that he is. She keeps saying that too. What Chris just said, right? That's blasphemy. You can't wish for the end. But she never warned him about what Junior said in the first episode. That's the one regret we're going to have. The way he said that too, something needs to be done about Tony. You got to bring it out. Tony's doing his best here, but the real solution was have her live with you. Like, why not? Really, why not? You got the rest of your family there, so at least she puts herself away from that category. The lunatics, meaning not me. I mean, you can understand her bitterness, but what do you want him to do? I mean, what a way to meet somebody when they're taking a piss in public. He's becoming paranoid, but it's a result of his own weakness. This is a private eye for wise guys, something like that. I don't know how they would have come in contact originally, but he's still alive. I swear, the way they showed it at the end of the last episode made it seem like he was already dead, like they time skipped it. But why was it Russians then who did it? Oh shit. Well, this is a bad thing. Just make peace with. It was his fault. It was Brendan's fault. If you wanted to do it, you should have just gone straight and done it then. You got to make peace with Uncle, say that Brendan is restitution for the clown behavior that he put forth, blame it on him, let it go, and stay off his fucking trucks. That would be my position, but... yeah, that makes Tony look like a clown times two. Now he's paranoid about the psychiatrist, but then don't go there, or just talk in vagaries that you can't actually figure out what you're actually really talking about, like how he started. Tony can get away with doing this, but it's not justified. He always flexes his muscles, but in the wrong way. Your guy's fucked up, they killed a guy, they fucked up his trucks twice. That's fine. Why don't you take care of her then, you fuck? Have her live with you. Oh, look at the power move, the alpha move by... I like this guy more and more, dude. Because you're not an adult, Tony. You're a bitch. Oh, shit, dude. You don't fuck with Junior. You don't fuck... Well, you shouldn't say it, though, because then maybe he will, but he won't. Because he's too much of a pussy. You could have killed him right then and there. It'd be so easy to kill this guy, dude. You're always one step ahead. Even I was criticizing Junior by saying, oh, he was too conspicuous how he's talking to the mother. So that's a great rivalry. What are they trying to do this for? Like, this is the guy who's supposed to be... This guy's supposed to be the one keeping tabs on them, but, like, why would you pull them over then? That's too conspicuous. Or maybe it's something else. I don't know what's going on. The guy was supposed to be watching her, but not make a big thing out of it. This whole plotline is getting stupid now with the therapist. She's therapizing him even now. Police brutality. Like, what is even the point of what they're doing? How exactly would this be helping even find out more about the guy? Like, just ruining her nice little date night. That's where you can tell it's Karen from Goodfellas with the voice. Went to such lengths and made yourself so obvious in doing it. Tony's acting pretty cool in this scene at least. But no, like, I don't get what the fuck is going on with this. What is this plot line? Like, she's talking to her own therapist, so therefore that could mean she's slipping the stuff that you're telling her, then she'll tell her therapist. Going to the mattresses. Good joke. But it's... Yeah, Tony acts like hot shit, but do it yourself then. He's even deferring though, he's being humble. This guy's got some pretty good one-liners. They both want to take over each other's territory. Tony's being humble and even deferring to the other ones. Oh, it shouldn't be me, it should be you. But at least he realizes his shortcomings and clown behavior at times. He's fucking stalking a therapist that you're going to in the first place. Like, what are you doing, man? Fine. Yeah, this is just what we need. More drama. Now he's gonna beat him up again and then ruin his other shirt. But yeah, hooray, what a great solution. Beat him up again and ruin another shirt to get to fucking get the $40. And then you'll need another $40. And how did you not get caught when you did it in the middle of the hallway? In this family, we don't solve our problems by hitting people. No, we shoot them. A history of violence. Scared of the little axe there. the first person who's scared of Tony, and it's a clown random parent, not a legitimate mobster. Like, you think Uncle Junior's scared of this dude, man? Nobody's scared of him. But I do give him always that one point for humility, that he sometimes doesn't have the arrogance that you would think would come with his position, right? Some people get full of themselves. He doesn't. But he arguably doesn't have the right to, but I'll still give him credit for that. He's just too caught between different things. He doesn't know what he's doing. Make up your mind. Now he fucking faints again. It was like the third time it's happened, but the second time he didn't pass out. He just kind of, I forget what happened. He keeps saying he, that they assume that it's not a she. It's like, now she's going to be passive-aggressive about the cheating that happened. Okay, so we'll stop it right there, and then I'll watch it from there on the next time. Right, which normally would be the alternating day, but I guess I can't do that now. Okay, so today I'm going to be continuing watching Season 1, Episode 4 of The Sopranos. I don't like doing it like this because I split it up over 2 days because I started kind of too late last time. I didn't really have time during the drive, of course, which is where I watched these, as you can tell from the background noise. Let's just recap what happened briefly, and then maybe I'll watch it again tomorrow, so I'll watch Episode 5 tomorrow, because I like doing it that way. Then we'll go back to the every other day schedule, because one day I like to do Sopranos, my main series, whatever, so for now this is what it's going to be, and then the other day I like to do some weird format where, like, you know, I was doing Girls until I get bored. Like, it's some sort of permadeath format for a series, which means it has to succeed at some challenge, otherwise I stop watching it, so it's very harsh. Like, I watched Girls until I got bored, so it lasted 2 episodes. Then I watched Big Bang Theory till an episode failed to make me laugh, so I lasted 2 episodes. And Sheldon almost got me in the second one, but not quite, and he got me in the first one too, so he is a funny character, but the show is too much of a one-trick pony with the, we get it, they're nerds, that's the one joke, haha. And then the other element is we have a case of, we were thinking like we could do a horror show or something, like I'll watch till I get scared, right, or something like that. So it gives me some variety, because I haven't ever really watched too much TV, and I'm like super far behind, so there's so many series I could watch. This is a good way to do it. So this I'm going to watch just kind of no matter what, because it seems good and I'm enjoying it. So it's good to have like one sort of fixed main series, and then the other one is going to be, every other day is going to be, again, something weird that it could turn into a main series if it lives up to that, but there'll be like some sort of ongoing pressure. Like, if it fails to make me laugh and it's a comedy for one full episode, then it's over. Or if I get bored during like a drama, then it's over. Or if I get scared during, that's kind of putting the pressure on me. If I get scared during a horror series, then I have to stop watching. So it's a punishment, like watch so you get scared. Try not to get scared challenge kind of thing. So now we're going to recap this, and I'm going to start from, it's going to be minus 2101 in the HBO Max context. So there's 21 minutes left in the video. It doesn't show you like how much you've watched into it, but they're usually 41 minutes, 42 minutes. So it's about halfway. I don't know exactly. So let's just recap. Tony's becoming a nutcase, so I've lost track of what my overall character point system is, but Uncle Junior is at least up a couple, right? I'll give you an example of how this character point system works, basically. Uncle Junior is an example of a net positive right now. Tony is an example of a net negative, and then Christopher is an example of a neutral, right? So here's what we look at. Every event that happens, you know, I kind of judge them. Every major scenario, every episode, whatever happens. So the reason why Uncle Junior is a net positive is because you're in a position of basically being able to fuck all this distracted driving stuff. Uncle Junior has been sort of cool, calm, collected, ruthless. So he gets a +1 for his general demeanor, especially in the first episode. And there were some events specifically that happened early on, right? So he sort of I can't remember actually what it was. So sort of like the way he's dealing with the mother, and he's sort of, I don't know, his general demeanor gets him a +1. He's always cool, calm, collected. Okay, number 2 that gets him a +1 is that he's justified in his action here, right, objectively. They fucked with the truck once, they got a warning, right? Then they fucked with the truck again, they got somebody killed, right? They accidentally shot their gun, Brendan did it, right? So he killed Brendan and warned Chris, and he's even talking to the mother, so he gets a +1 for that because he's doing the correct thing. There's nothing wrong with what he did. They fucked with his truck twice, they're not getting the message, right? They got somebody killed, they fucked up major. Yes, Tony gave him restitution, technically, but it's still good sending a message. He warned one, threatened one, killed the other. He's doing the tough thing, right? He's being tough when he needs to be tough, not just to show off. And so his whole vibe is the whole Hyman Roth type of thing. He'll do what he needs to do, but he's not doing it just for show, right? And so he garners a certain respect. There was some other event, too, that I think that was in his favor. But again, his general calm demeanor, he's cool under pressure, he's not flexing his muscle for no good reason. He almost baited me in. In the first episode, I thought, oh, this is just some random guy. I didn't think he'd be such a big deal. So he even got me with this old man, sort of Quercus Alba vibe. If you know the Miles Edgeworth series, like, you put on this facade that despite how ruthless and smart and powerful you are, he seems like just a regular guy. But the way he does that, the way he maneuvers the mother, so he's at least +2. Because again, what he did here was a good power move, right? He did something else that was a power move, I can't remember. When he was talking to Tony in this episode, I can't remember. Just the way he handles himself. So he's a net positive because he's just very capable, very impressive, good for him. Then Chris is a net negative, net neutral, because he's done some good things and some bad things. He did the Triber Towers thing. He's done, so that'd be like a +1. He's generally a little bit careful and he has the right idea, so that's a +2. But then he gets a -1 for fucking around with the truck the first time and not showing adequate leadership the second time, even though he didn't do it. See, that's exactly the example. He's a +1 because he didn't participate in the second truck jacking in Uncle Junior's territory, right? But the fact that he did the first one and the fact that he didn't stop the other guy from doing the second one, showing that level of leadership that he wants to be a made man, but yet he can't manage his own people even now, that's a -1. So they cancel each other out. He has the right idea, the right spirit, the right, he's a little bit more careful, but he doesn't have the right, he doesn't take it all the way, so he's kind of half-half, right? So those cancel each other out, and then finally he sells drugs to the kid. So again, +1 for Triber Towers, +1 for staying out of the second truck jacking, but then -1 for not stopping the other guy from staying out of the truck jacking and even being in the first one, and then -1 for selling the kid drugs, right? When he had the right idea, I'm not going to do it, your father will kill me, but now all of a sudden he fucked up and did it anyway, which is a big, I don't feel bad for him. If he gets killed now because of that, fuck him, dude. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Let her get it somewhere else, and if he blames you for that, then fuck you, dude. Or just tell the father, like, oh, look, she was propositioning me for drugs, I wouldn't dare to do it, I just want to let you know so that fucking she doesn't buy it from somewhere else and give her a stern talking to. Maybe she'll get mad at you, but who cares what the kid thinks? She's gonna fucking do drugs. Alright, so the point is that here, and then, okay, let's say Tony is a net negative, and here's why. He starts off the series and he's sort of half, right? Like he's not intimidating enough, he's doing stuff openly in public. So that's a -1, he runs a guy over in public, he's kind of flexing his muscle, I get why that scene's in there. Then he gets a +1 for his humility, he's always willing to have a conversation and sort of talk things out, even with Chris, even with younger people who are much less senior to, he could just flex his position and say, fuck it, I'm Tony Soprano, you can't say shit to me. But he doesn't always do that. He'll sometimes be very reasonable and talk it out, even with Junior, right? He was being pretty pragmatic, right? So that those two even each other out. But then here's where he goes in the negative. He gets a -2. -1 for going to therapy in the first place, -2 for now he's getting paranoid about the therapy, even though that was obvious from the beginning. So you're number one, so weak-minded as a big bad mobster that you have to go there. Then number 2, you have to, now you're paranoid, oh shit, what I told her, she might tell somebody else. So you're not only not masking what you're saying and giving analogy like how he was at the beginning, but now you're worried about something that you would have known from the start if you just use your brain that, oh, she all this stuff could be leaked. She said it at the beginning herself if it's something incriminating, and it's even like, the fact that you need to go is a -1, and the fact that you are now worried about it and shocked by the fact that now you're stalking her, following her around. Like, he's totally turning into a basket case clown. So that's a -2. Now it's going to be a -3. I'm going to shit all over him, right? Number 3 is the way he dealt with the Hajid people. I can't remember exactly how you say it. It starts with an H. He was unable to torture somebody convincingly, so that all you have to do is be as tough as that guy, and you can stand up to Tony Soprano. And then number 4 is the lack of a fear factor. So he's a -4. Right, the pluses he got for humility, or no, wait, maybe he's only he got a +1. I guess I have a little time to spare here, but I do want to watch the rest of this. Okay, he's a +1 for, those two even each other out, that's what I was saying. He's a -1 for being so conspicuous and open about how he does things, beating people up, running people over in public, right? That's a -1. Too conspicuous despite your power and stature. Number 2 is a plus, that he's humble enough to have a conversation. Then, okay, now here's why he's -4. Number 1, go to therapy, cry about ducks, that whole kind of weakness vibe. Number 2 is you're vain and superficial about that and worried that, the therapist is going to talk to her own therapist or whatever, right? And that therapist character is going to be interesting because, how is she having such a big role in this series? I thought that would just be a way to introduce the story as a pilot, but what, is she going to be in, the whole fucking thing, or is she going to be like an agent spy who tries to rat out Tony to the government, and she's actually a secret agent? That's why he's been sent there in the first place, to try to get some information on him. Because if he's really that big of a deal, right, the reason why he was referred there is part of some government conspiracy to try to catch Tony, right? She's not just some random therapist. So you should have never, you're a clown, dude. Learn something from Red John when he goes to see Sophie Miller. Right, he's talking, and she's so smart and perceptive that she picks up on, Red John has not that she knows it's him, has a phobia, but he gives the wrong one, right? He's afraid of birds, but he's actually afraid of, he says he's afraid of heights, but he's actually afraid of birds. So he tries to mask it to somebody who's very perceptive. This therapist is pretty smart. She's like a +1 just for general intelligence and things like that. The rest of the characters I don't care too much about, but Brendan's just a clown, but I guess he's dead now, so he's more than a -1 for doing this truck jacking, the second one, and fucking it up. So again, Tony is -4. -1 for going to therapy, and a -2 for stalking your therapist and being a basket case. Number 3, for if you're worried about it, just get another one, or we need like a mob special appointed therapist. And then number 3 and 4 is, again, the lack of a fear factor. He's not intimidating enough. He's not convincing enough. That's why he wasn't able to deal with that guy and torture him into a divorce. And then finally, number 4 is generally just his lack of again, toughness, or there might have been something specific. And I did just say what it was, but I forgot. Number 4 is, again, how, even in this situation, let's just use this as an example of his general not being that impressive. He's sort of, what would Tony do if one of Uncle Junior's guys or somebody, kept hitting his trucks in his territory, right? That's the one rule. Don't hit their fucking trucks. So what happens is, you've hit them twice. What is Uncle Junior supposed to do? So if he did that to Tony, Tony would be pissed and maybe kill the guy or whatever. He'd be yelling at him. He'd be mad. But in this case, Tony went and expected, boo-hoo, let me, let me complain, or what you did was extreme. It really wasn't extreme, right? What they did was extreme. He's just reacting and retaliating. Like, you got to have some rules and structure. You can't just let them dick around over and over. Otherwise, it sends the wrong message that you can fuck with this guy. You can mess with Uncle Junior's territory and now have no repercussions. You got to send a message, right? That's what the guy at the diner was saying to Uncle Junior. So Tony's a -1 for all that. Like, he can't control his people. He's not that impressive. He doesn't have the fear factor. It kind of was number 3. So number 4 is his general incompetence. Part of the reason why the family's doing so bad. He can't take leadership, even as Jackie's dying, right? The guy in the hospital, he's saying, he's trying to pass it off to somebody else, which, again, I appreciate the humility, so that's the 1+1 that he has going for him, but he's still -4. So again, let me review them, because he's the main character, obviously, but it's a complex thing, right? So you're -1 because of the conspicuous nature of how you do things sometimes. You're +1 because of your humility. then we go straight down into 4 in a row. Those even each other out. Now we're -4 straight. So you're -4 straight because one, you go to therapy, you're crying your eyes out, you don't have the toughness, right, for this life. Then number 2 is you are also, becoming a basket case, stalking the therapist, all this kind of stuff, and that you are dumb enough to not have realized what that would mean, right? So the mental weakness to go there and the mental lack of awareness that, oh, now I have to worry about it, and the way that he's going about it is, again, like a basket case, just let her go. What do you have, a crush on her or something? Just fuck her, just leave, stop doing it, find another therapist, worst case. Then number 3, he's a -1 because, again, he's not tough enough to torture the guy into a divorce. And just it's a general observation, but in that one case it really is highlighted. He's not tough enough or as capable as what you would think, right, what you would expect him to be. And then number 4 is he doesn't have the leadership. He can't control his own people like Chris and the other kid, Brendan, and he also can't deal with Uncle Junior. He's wrong in this situation. He's talking to Junior. He has no conviction. He's not taking leadership from Jackie. All these weaknesses, right? He can't take leadership from Jackie. He's trying to pass it off. He can't deal with Uncle Junior and just accept that he was wrong. He's trying to act like Uncle Junior did something wrong. He can't stand up to him because it's like, Uncle Junior's even saying, you better come in here heavy, that's quite a major line and moment. And I always criticize that kind of thing. Don't let him know that. Just pretend like you're buddy, and then kill him behind closed doors, or, he won't see it coming. But the whole thing is that the situation is that you're left in a position of being able to, he said, we might have to go to war, and then Tony's not even considering war, which, again, that's part of the +1 for humility that we're talking about, that it's not so bad, right, that it's a good thing to think like that, right, peacetime, but he's like a peacetime, what do they call it in The Godfather, like, peacetime consigliere is like Tom Hagen, right, he's never seen war before, and that guy had a funny line, too, in that scene, like, if we go to the mattresses, I have like a really fancy Aquaphor or whatever, like a really nice mattress, so he's not even worried about it, and he's happy with doing that. Like that's a pretty funny way to put it, but I mean, a lot of these people, this is like the macho Joe Pesci, Sonny vibe, like where some people in this life of the mob have this need to show off, right? They have a need to stick their neck out and show off and use it as an ego thing, right? Neither Uncle Junior nor Tony have that, actually, so I have to give them credit for that, right? Uncle Junior is definitely very calm, collected, low-key. He's like Hyman Roth-esque character, right? So he does what needs to be done. He can be as ruthless and cold as he needs to be, but he only does it when there's a good cause, right? He's doing it with good reason, and he's measured, and he's disciplined, right? And then Tony is also not like that, to his credit, that he's kind of humble, and he's not in it for that reason, right? Sure, he'll get mad sometimes and beat people up, but he's actually pretty measured and pretty reasonable. So on that level, I respect that, but it's dog eat dog. You can be all respectable you want, but are you going to survive the events of the show? Which obviously you are, because you're the main fucking character. But okay, so we'll start watching in a second. But yeah, this episode has been pretty interesting so far. I got to start grading them again as far as letter grades. Episode 1 got a B or a B plus. Episode 2 as well. Episode 3 I think I gave actually a C, even though it had that really good ending with the killing. I can't say exactly why. Like, they're starting to maybe meander a bit. That other subplot wasn't that interesting with the torturing the guy. They always try to introduce these subplots like that. That's the background thing. So yeah, the Uncle Junior thing is going to be very interesting as it comes to a head, the conflict there. So we're starting with 2101 left in the video, minus 2101, in 3, 2, 1. And he's talking to his wife. He's pretending it's a male therapist. He knows, but then again, she assumed at first as a male. That's an interesting line. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't be helping. She's mad about the cheating. Oh, she's being a bitch, but because he cheated with the other girl, and he doesn't know that. But then again, back to the therapist again. They're overdoing this. This is a cliche. Maybe it wasn't as much of a cliche at this point, but I don't like how much they're doing this. The happy pill. So you don't have the balls to do it, Tony. Fuck you, Tony. He's got bigger balls than you, this old man. The mother stress, I can understand that. Well, he already knows. You failed the test with your uncle. I read, I go right out. Ooh, good line. She's pretty on top of things. But yeah, the wife's being passive aggressive for that reason. He doesn't realize. He didn't go to therapy because of the marriage. He went to therapy because of other things. I want to see Chris get mad here. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. See, Chris is at least... This is justified. This is at least justified. Getting beat up by an injured guy in a fucking... He let the thing slip. To the Russians, though, I want to see if Uncle Junior uses that against him. He's so smart that he'll somehow deduce. He'll use that to blackmail him because he admitted that he gave drugs to the girl. His little kid plot line isn't that interesting to me, but they keep beating each other up, like fun storyline. It's an interesting contrast what they're going for with the stories, but this part just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't mean it's bad, but long, awkward silence here going on. Must have had a talking to by somebody big shot. I wonder what happened. A parent must have talked, or... This was like a whole big event that a crowd gathered to see the fucking fight, dude. Nice. The crowd is disappointed. We should do a laugh counter to see how many times the series has made me laugh, too. It's funny in like a light way. This, if I was to compare it to a movie, it's the most like Goodfellas, because it has the high energy, but it's not like really a comedy, but it's also not as serious as The Godfather, or even as crazy obsessed as Scarface. Scarface is actually a pretty dark movie. People sometimes don't view it that way, but yeah, Tony's too chill, man. He's never gonna make it. Oh shit, he's dead. So now they'll have a... This is how he finds out. Only 2 years, though. We never got to see him at his peak. That's a bad way to find out. Now, is Tony going to take charge is the big question. We got to see a backstory of like flashback of like how was he at his peak, because we've only seen him as 6, so I don't know what to make of him, right? Everyone talks so glowingly about him, like how the father was a saint, but that was a bad time. I question it too. Why are you lucky? That's why you're so mad in the first place. It was a really bad time. Somebody should have told him. You're not gonna kill Uncle Junior, dude. He's too good of a character. He's gonna sidestep it and fuck you in the ass. That's the ultimate, dude. That's what I want to see. I want to see them try to kill him, and they fail to do it. He fails to do it, and then he'll come back right on him hard. You think you know who you're fucking with, dude? Uncle Junior is a goat. He said, come heavy or don't come at all. What the fuck? Why would you say that? You came by yourself, first of all. That's a fuck up. Why would you say I came in heavy? Like, you think he doesn't know that, dude? He's on top. Yeah. So let Uncle do it. Don't do it for him. But he's in New York. Okay, I respect that. That's the best thing you could have done, Tony. +1 for you, deferring to your eldership. Okay, yeah, let him have it. Let him have it for now, and he's old anyway, so he'll give it back to you. That was a respectful... Now he's going to take issue with that, too. You know, this is still a +1 moment for Tony, despite that asking price. That's reasonable. Good on Tony. He realizes he's not a good enough leader, so let him have it. Good for you. You know what would have really been a +1 for him, though? Is if he only pretended to do that and then still killed him anyway. He shoots Junior when they're hugging. That would be God level. Actually, okay, so the one girl knows what the father's into, but no, you own a waste management company, you can make a lot of money. Fuck that, you're wrong. You can live in a house like that, sure, they make a lot of money. I'm talking about the big dogs. You're the owner of a big waste management company. Mob website. Don't taint the kid's view, though, dude. But no, you hand off the reins to Junior. Now that's going to come back on him somehow, right? Even though I respect Tony for doing it, it's like, you know, somehow he's going to get punished for it still. But no, good on Tony for his humility. So that'd be a +1. So he'd be -3 only. Right? It's going to be hard to keep track. Phone's off the hook. What kind of excuse fucking is that? What does that even mean? My phone's off the hook. This is like my fetish right here. Yeah, I'm with a data therapist. So she can psychoanalyze me outside of her work. But why are we seeing this scene? Why do we care about her personal life? This is stupid. Fuck. But she was consoling him the same way in the car, like, oh, be calm, this and that. Like, it's a good quality to have. Much more attractive character than Karen that she plays in. I didn't find her attractive at all, but this one was really smart. My type of girl. Something bad's gonna happen, though, still. But that's a good act of pragmatism. Why is he saying this to the therapist? You're about to cancel out the +1. She's smart enough to figure out. Wow. That's a good double meaning. Reverse the roles. Actually, it was. Stop telling her the real thing. She was just talking about dead bodies. Oh, my first dead body. Why are you saying that shit to her like that? Mask it at least. She even said, if you say something incriminating, oh, that unsolved murder from 20 years ago. Oh, he used that advice. Make them think they're in control. Oh, good. This is... Good move. So that advice that she said make the kids feel in control, he used it on him. Make him feel in control when really but he still is. I mean, he has his territory and whatever. He's pretty powerful in his own right. You whack somebody and you couldn't do shit about it, right? So still the alpha move, but this is still part of the same +1. His humility to do that, and he had a bigger plan behind it. So the only way... This is like the party scene wedding at the beginning of The Godfather at the wedding. They beat up the photographer, destroy his camera and shit. But what you got to figure is the fact that, you know, this is a good scene, like Tessio at the funeral and stuff, setting up the meeting with Barzini. Oh, the kid found out what he does. The kid found out what he does, the boy, so that's the end of the episode. But the thing here that you gotta figure, right? That was a good move by Tony, I guess, right? That, he's trying to justify it. Partly it's true, but partly it's like, I'm sure you'll lose something. Like, oh, he's just a figurehead and we'll still, But this is how it happens. Now he'll change things. He'll say, no, I want more and this and that, but that's why Uncle Junior is wise and fair. And that's the whole thing. He's old, so you think, oh, he'll probably die soon and have to pass it off anyway. So now give it to someone with seniority, and then when he dies, now he'll give it to you happily and say, okay, that was good on you, and that's the right move to make, right? Because he's been in this longer, he's been through more, it feels respectful that way. So Tony gets himself to a -3 for the series, assuming I'm not forgetting anything. And so that +1 is very, very good, though, because he was borderline +2, and then he's borderline -1, right? He was borderline +2 because of what he just said here at the funeral, that I didn't even really think of it that way, that, oh, he'd be, turn Junior into the figurehead, and he's using, like, that psychological advice, right? Make old people or young people, like your mother, or like your kids, make them feel like they're in control when they're really not. So give them the illusion of control. So rather than applying that to, it's a really good moment, rather than applying that to the situation she was talking about, like with his mother, he's applying it to Uncle Junior, like make him feel in control, but I'm still going to make decisions, and ultimately I get to do what I'm doing and get a little for it. So he's basically just a figurehead, right, which Tony is not really able to do. So that's part of his humility. He's not a good leadership figure, and so let Uncle Junior take the heat or be the figurehead, and then obviously, you know, you still are doing well. So it's good on two levels. I won't give a second point, and then he canceled it out with the stupid ass. He's talking directly to the therapist and talking about dead bodies and stuff, you know, all this kind of shit that you really shouldn't be doing and not even masking it up. But yeah, so that's a major +1 event. Just you not only show the humility to give it to him, but you also retain some integrity in the fact that, oh, we're just doing it to make him a figurehead, and we still keep our control, make him think he's in power, that kind of thing, even though he is in power, to be fair. But that's not like a -1 for Junior, like, oh, he got duped by Tony, because I guarantee it's going to come back around, and now Tony's going to regret it. Like, oh shit, this guy's more crafty than I think, and like, he's going to actually start demanding tribute from everybody, or he's going to somehow mess up what Tony thinks he has in the bag, right? But he's disciplined enough, so that's a neutral episode for Uncle Junior, but it's a good one for Tony. In fact, this is really the first genuine moment that I've been impressed with him, and part of it is a level of intelligence that he hasn't shown till now, but part of it is a level of humility that he's shown throughout the whole series. So that's actually the one thing I keep saying. He's willing to take shit from people a little bit. He's willing to take some shit from Chris. He's willing to have those conversations. He's willing to, you know, be reasonable with Junior. He's not like this macho guy, which has a plus and a minus. He's not tough enough, and he's not scaring anybody, and he's not able to torture the guy into the divorce that he's trying to get. But he also is not so macho and headstrong that he's blind to these things. So he's more pragmatic. He's willing to have the conversation out. He's willing to defer to somebody at the meeting right before, like, maybe you should take over. And then, you know, they reject it, but now he gives it to Junior instead, right? Remember there was a meeting before where he said that, oh, maybe you should take over instead, somebody older than him, right? But they declined it and said, no, you should have it. So he gives it to Junior here in that sense. So not only does his humility shine, but for the first time his intelligence shines. So you're saying, oh, make him seem like the figurehead. Again, part of that is almost cope, that he's coping with the fact that, oh, you know, I can't really fuck with Junior because Junior's got bigger balls than me and he's way more capable. So I'm not going to fuck with him. I'm going to try to keep him happy and do it that way and defer to him, right? So in that sense, it's fine. So you go from the father to Jackie, right? The original father to Jackie to now Uncle Junior to, I guess, Tony Soprano will be the next one when Junior dies, something like that ends up happening in the series at some point. And so, you know, again, it might turn into full-scale war or something along those lines. So what ends up happening is basically you're in a position where that conflict will still be brooding, but at least Tony puts him on his good side now. So he goes into the thing, right, to try to make peace, like, oh, I'm carrying, I have heat, but then he gives him ownership of the whole family. So quite frankly, even though it's a good moment for Tony, it still shows a certain fear. Like, if, oh, Uncle Junior's just this harmless, useless old man, then you wouldn't be doing this. Like, you're still worried about it. Like, oh shit, we fucked with his trucks, he's mad at us, so in order to make peace, we're going to give him this. You can't act like you didn't want to be the figurehead. That is kind of a cope response. Like, oh, I'm coping with the fact that I'm not the boss, right? And so now I'm coping with the fact that I'm not the boss, and so what we're going to do is we're going to, you know, pretend like, oh no, it's what I wanted though. I didn't want to be the boss, even though he genuinely doesn't seem like he does want to be. Heavy as the head that lies the crown kind of thing. But if you are going to do that, right, then you're saying, oh, well, we're really trying to make peace with the guy, and we're really a little afraid of the guy, and this and that. And so it ends up being a case where part of it is genuine deference. Part of it's the fact that he's older, more experienced. Part of it is the fact that he's, smart and capable and all these kind of things. And part of it is the fact that, he's in a bit of a pickle and he kind of feels like he owes him one and he's trying to make peace and keep him happy. And part of it is his own humility, and part of it is his own lack of leadership that he has to defer. And he knows that, at least he's acknowledging. That's the best thing you can do for me in my character judgment in a series, in a story, right? Or even in real life. It's one thing to have flaws, right? Everybody does, and sometimes you can't always work through them and things like that. But you got to be aware of them. So Tony's aware in some sense that he's not the best suited for the role, right? He almost doesn't want to do it. He doesn't have it in him. He's not as intimidating as he needs to be. He's not a good enough leader as he needs to be. And so therefore he's deferring that. So at least he's humble about it. Right, so it's one thing, okay, he has all these flaws that I keep pointing out, but at least he's aware of them to some extent. Although the therapy clown behavior I can't exactly justify. So maybe tomorrow I'll watch this again as we decide what to watch. Maybe not, I don't know. I kind of messed up my schedule because I had to watch this one twice in a row. I like to alternate this and give myself some variety. I think maybe tomorrow I'll decide what other series I want to watch. So we did a comedy, a sitcom, right? So now let's alternate and do another genre in that other slot. So we're going to do possibly like a horror thing, like American Horror Story. I'll watch American Horror Story until I get scared. Now the one advantage I guess I would have there is the simple fact that obviously, I won't really be watching it as much as I'll be listening to it, but there could still be some jump scare moments. So if I flinch back, or if I have I'll get in a car crash because I get so scared. If I flinch back, or I'll be honest about it, like how I was honest about Big Bang Theory episode 1. Sheldon made me laugh with some quip about, what were you guys doing all day? Oh, we were masturbating into a cup or something because they went to a sperm bank. Just the way he says things can be pretty funny. And then they failed to make me laugh in episode 2. So yeah, that's just sort of a flexible format that could be anything, but we keep this as the main series. So yeah, this was a good episode. I'll give it maybe a B. And again, the stuff to do with the kids is just not interesting me at all. It's good that the kid at least realized what the dad is doing. Finally, the girl seemed acutely aware of it. So the kids are kind of dumb, though. One of them's getting in fights. One of them's using drugs to get it through an exam. And then Chris had kind of a bad moment, but I'm not going to really judge that. Say he doesn't know. Why doesn't somebody just say, Jackie passed away, just hang on, and he would have backed off, right? Because his rage is sort of justified, but he's also, he's not the kind of guy, you can just tell him what to do, and he's just going to, hang his head happily, or at least not now, right? Like, he might just be a kid, but he's garnered a certain amount of respect in his own right, or he should have, but that was just a bad time to do it. He almost died, but it was his own fault because, he's fucking with the trucks or not showing leadership or things like that. So it's almost like a lesson. You kind of got what you deserved. And he's going to be mad, actually, that Tony deferred to Junior that way. And also it's a case where, what do you call it? I don't know. That's what Junior was saying, almost like, I want Chris to work for me, and instead of that, he just gave him, he made him the boss overall, right? So Chris isn't going to be working for him, but whatever. So Jackie's gone for good. That's a tough way for him to learn about it, over the news. What else happened? The wife's being all passive aggressive. I mean, Tony's got a lot of shit going on, but I don't give a sympathy card out either. Like, I'm going to hold you accountable. Heavy lies the crown. So it's like, you've got all these things going for you, but you have all these things going against you. So like the good is, you're a mob boss and you're wealthy and all these kind of things. Okay, you get all these privileges, all these bonuses, but then okay, you're stressed out, you're passing out, you're having strokes, you lost your ducks, your kids are on drugs, your kids are fucking don't respect you because you're a criminal. And it's also the fact that your wife is giving you shit. The wife is just not even a rateable character because there's nothing she's done that I really like. She's just annoying, so I just disregard her whole existence. Fuck the wife. Nobody gives a shit about her, right? She's not even worth my time to rate. But that was an uncharacteristically bitchy scene by her, so it's like, because she found out that he cheated on her. I won't even count that against him either, but it's kind of like a part of his whole half-mass nature where he doesn't know what he wants or what he's doing. You're married, you have kids, but you're still cheating on your wife. It's like, I don't have a problem with that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, be with multiple women, do whatever you want, but why you gotta... It's just like you're not sure of what you're doing. Oh, it'd be a waste of this power and privilege to be a mob boss or to be wealthy, right? You're like some rock star, or you're like a movie, you know, in the movies, and you're a big thing and you're a millionaire. It'd be a waste if you weren't sleeping around and having fun with girls. Some people would perceive it that way, right? So, oh, you can't blame Tony for that. But then don't get married. Don't get married and fuck around all you want, and I got no problem. But at least be consistent with what you want. See, he doesn't know what he wants. Oh, I want to have the kids and the family, but then I also want to fuck around. You're the one who put yourself in that position where now fucking around is weird to do, right? So that's my only measure. I'm not judging either one. Do whatever you want, but be consistent. So like, okay, don't be in a serious relationship. Don't be married, and then you can do whatever you want, right? Have an orgy, have a threesome every night. Do whatever you want. Right, so I'm only measuring it in terms of consistency, right? Just own what you do. Same thing with the mob element. See, I judge stories objectively like this. I'm not questioning that, oh, he's in the mob, he's a bad guy, degenerate criminal. I'm judging it on the basis that if something happens, I don't feel bad for you because you weren't good enough or smart enough not to get caught or not to get outfoxed by some rival gang or something like that. Right, so it's like, if you're going to do that, you're in the mob. Okay, fine. I'm not judging that, but I'm saying I don't feel bad for you. I don't sympathize with you if something happens or whatever. And so now we're looking at it just purely from a perspective of ability, right? Light Yagami from Death Note's a character who will kind of teach you that. Like, it's not about morality. He decides in episode 1, I'm going to use the notebook to kill criminals and try to become this godlike figure and reduce worldwide crime, which he does do by like 75%, 70% by the end of the series. And so the point is that he's committing to doing that, and now it's just a question of how good is he at doing it and how good is he at not getting caught. So it's the same thing with Tony. You're in the mob, this is the business that you've chosen, even if you feel like, oh, you somehow were pushed into it because of family, but at some point, you're in it, you know you're in it, and now it's like, okay, you have to basically figure a way to either be good enough not to get caught, or what's the other thing? You have to be good enough not to get caught, and you have to be good enough not to get outfoxed by other people in the same business, like other criminals, like Uncle Junior and stuff like that. So that's why I'm respecting Junior. You might say, oh, he's not such a good guy either. He's also a criminal, but he's good at what he does. His vibe is like, okay, you respect that guy. So despite the fact that, oh, he's just a figurehead and Tony's kind of having a coping moment, right, it's okay. I'm still giving him the +1 for both his humility and deference to him, and also his, he's playing him a little bit, but part of it is just the fact that you cannot deny the greatness of Uncle Junior, that he almost deserves that, and you almost have to give it to him. So, he's going to be the godfather figure going forward, and they are going to have some conflict, I think, still at that point. So we have to see, the kids' drama is not really doing it for me much. So we've had like a B+, a B, and a C, and then maybe another B. And the standard is pretty high, but I think that third episode I didn't like somehow, and I don't know exactly why. They were getting distracted with some other subplot and just kind of getting into some weird stuff. And with this one, the weird subplot is the fact that, like, they've had 3 weird subplots. Like, finding the teacher's car in episode 2, I didn't really understand that or care for it. Then episode 3, they have the subplot of, like, trying to deal with the guy, getting him to get a divorce, and then this one they have a case of trying to basically trying to get the guy, trying to stalk the therapist and find out something on her. So that is utterly ridiculous, and at the same time that he's worried about the therapist, he's still admitting, oh, I killed this guy at 16 or something like that. And so I don't really understand why he's going into that if you feel like, you're in a position of being able to basically either get a new therapist or stop going to therapy altogether, or try to not tell her all these things, or try to use innuendo or hide it behind something else, right? Like do one of these various things that I'm offering to you, and yet he does none of them. So, but no, that was a good moment at the funeral thing. That's kind of a passing of the torch Barzini, Tessio type moment, where it's like, oh, we're gonna deal with that, and so it's fine, That's what Junior's been thinking about the whole time. So they're both going to lay off each other now. It's going to be all peace. It's going to be all good. So that's definitely a hallmark moment, not just in this episode, but in the second half of the episode. As it at the beginning of this, even in the middle, like how I was starting from 20 minutes left, that was a great reaction by Tony. I'm talking shit about Tony, saying he's -4, and even though we're halfway through the episode, he's like, let me get right on that shit, and I'm gonna fucking correct this, because that was a great, that was only a +1 still, but it's still, that's like a hallmark +1. That's like really, that was the most impressive moment of the series for him. Both deferring to Junior, giving him that, and also sort of playing him a little bit, although I'm not entirely convinced that he's going to be happy with this decision down the road, because Junior is a crafty man, so he's going to kind of fuck you over later, and you're going to be pissed about it. Oh, I should have never given him that, because he's going to keep taking more and more power. He doesn't seem greedy, but he's, he's certainly, he's older, he's accomplished, it seems like. I don't know the whole history, obviously, yet, but he seems like somebody who really has the right vibe. He's my type of guy that I would respect, like, there's just something about him that you respect. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's cold, calm, calculating, all these kind of things that you like to see. So he's the perfect potential antagonist. Whether he actually is going to be the main antagonist or not, I don't know. But out of all the characters so far, he would be the one that I would want to be the villain, right? I say that sometimes in detective shows or something, like, I want it to be you, not because, whatever. It's because I like you, and you'll be such a badass villain, such a badass reveal, sort of a conflict to have, right? I want it to be you because you're a worthy adversary, basically, to have in the series. And Tony has at least shown some mettle there. So yeah, this is a solid B episode as well. A lot of conflicts coming to head with the kids, sort of being suspicious of the mob stuff, or at least the one kid finding out, the wife's being a bit of a bitch and she won't say why. Chris kind of embarrassed himself a little bit here, but I'm not going to hold it against him that the timing was just like that. Like, Jackie, he just found out Jackie died. That's not really his fault that he happened to walk in. That's just one of those incidental happenstance moments. So, for example, a character getting lucky, like let's say, a character hits the lottery in a series, that would not be a plus or a minus for them as far as like a character point system, because it's like, that's just totally random, dumb luck. It's not anything else, really.